What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with the spine-tingling, rose-blossoming
Gersh 1.
And today we're back at it to answer more questions from you guys in another installment of 1, 2, 3, 4 the Greater.
I like the countdown. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Also, if you guys like listening to us talk about 40K, you can support the channel by hitting us up with a super thanks. If you do, ask us another question and we will guarantee answer it in the next episode. And we will probably make it into a thumbnail question. So you will be forever concreted in the Greater WAAAGH series. Concreted, that's a word. And this question comes from, Ben903. Who is most likely to get a new army next?
So that's a very interesting question because we just got a brand new faction returning in the form of the Squats, aka the Kin, aka the Leagues of Voltan.
Yes.
So Space Dwarves are back, and they're really good, to the point where they were actually banned from certain tournaments. But now that 10th edition is officially here, I think they've kind of nerfed them down to the point where they're kind of on the same playing field as everything else. However, I feel like there are a ton of factions that could use their own rules, their own codex, and their own lineup, honestly. I'll give you my top 3 really quick. Starting with the bottom, number 3 is that of the Exodites for the Eldar. Who doesn't want to see space elves riding on dinosaurs? I mean, we already have a dinosaur faction, kind of, in Age of Sigmar, with the...
For Age of Sigmar, it's the Sephron, I think.
So, yeah, Seraphon?
Seraphon, there you go.
Yeah. So we have the Seraphon there, so I feel like it'd be pretty simple to, like, kind of not reuse sculpts, but, like, have a nice starting point. Hell, you could even do it now, just run them as Eldar, but, like, convert.
Right, which a lot of people have done.
Yeah. Number 2, they kind of already started on this, and it is more like the Inquisition. There's Agents of the Inquisition, you have Inquisitors, you have the Assassins, you even have, like, the...
Kill Team boxes.
Kill Team boxes, yeah, the Judge Dreads of the universe. But I think my number 1 has to be the Sisters of Silence.
Yeah.
They're really powerful against psychers, such as anything chaos, anything demons, anything that is really powerful right now, such as Magnus the Red. The Thousand Sons are really powerful in 10th edition. So I think having an anti-psyker army with awesome Sisters of Silence would be really cool. Because right now their range is very minimum. Even with the stuff they have on Forge World, it's very bare bones.
Yeah.
But the lore's there. You have named characters that are really badass, and I think that would be a really cool introduction for a faction that is kind of being backseated in the Custody book.
Yeah, and it would be another woman-led chapter.
Oh, yeah.
So, because really we only have the Adeptus Sororitas, or the Sisters of Battle, but now we would have the Sisters of Silence as well.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool. I interpreted this question a little bit different, and I thought to myself, like, what faction within 40K needs an update? And I think from something that we've been talking about is, like, I think the Tyranids. Because if you try to buy, what are the big dudes called?
Carnifexes?
Yeah, you try to buy a Carnifex. You try to buy, what are the ones that produce more
Tervagons.
Yeah, Tervagons. Try to buy anything on the GW website that's Tyranid, it's sold out. Or they're not producing it.
Yeah, I think that has to do with, like, Leviathan.
Yeah.
It revitalized the fun, the awesomeness that is space bugs.
Yeah.
So everybody's buying them left and right because they're pretty good now.
Yeah. But I think, like, the fact that GW is not producing more probably has to do with, like, well, whenever a faction becomes, like, that focal point, they're going to get a bunch of new models. So I think GW, the next faction to get a new line will be the Tyranids.
And I think that is correct because there is currently, like, a campaign going on, the Battle for Agram.
Yeah.
So whenever you play games at your local GW, the winner of a Space Marine versus Tyranid is recorded and added to, like, the overall wins, and whoever wins the most actually gets new models previewed.
Which I heard that thing got fudged.
That's what I've been hearing too. But as of last, I think the Tyranids were losing 49% to 51%. But I mean, I get it. Space Marines are the poster boys. They're the most popular. But, like, give me something else besides another Space Marine release. Like, I want to see the Norn's Emissaries.
The way they treated that whole little thing reminds me of Orktober. Because I think, like, it's going to be something that the fan base is going to hold on against GW forever. Because it's like... you fucking knew that, like you had a predestined outcome to something, and when that thing was tipping against you, you decided to like double down and like fudge the rules to be like, oh no, Space Marines won.
Yeah.
Just because that's what we prepared for.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like,
they kind of did that already too, because there was another like global campaign with Harkin World Claimer and the Black Legion against the Space Marines. So yeah, it's been done before, and it's like no matter what, Space Marines are going to come out on top.
GW just do better. Like, you guys were doing really good, and then you do something stupid like this, where at the core of it is you're just lying. And I learned lying is bad. Next question.
This one's by Gofaria. Sup guys, I'm doing good. I hope you are too.
No.
What type of sacrifice, or what would be needed to literally summon the Chaos Gods themselves for battles in real space? Has anything like this ever been pulled off?
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, thankfully not. Because these guys are, like, they're not even things. They're more like concepts manifested in warp. So, like, you see people's renditions of what Khorne looks like sitting on the throne, what Slanesh looks like in the palace and stuff like that. But in reality, this is just to help humans kind of conceptualize Khorne, Slanesh, Nurgle, Zeech. Because there's no real form to them. They are like power incarnate, I guess.
They're like electricity.
There you go.
Where, like, you see a lightning bolt, right? But it's not technically electricity, because electricity is happening right now. It's powering your computer, your phone, all that kind of stuff.
Our bodies.
Our bodies, yeah. So there is no, like, actual thing, because it's everywhere. And also, like, so every greater demon, every lesser demon, they are part of the Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, and for us to try to answer this question would mean that we would have to melt your brain with so much knowledge. We're just going to hold on to it and move on.
Right, because knowledge is power.
Hide it well. Next question comes from Stoned Hermit 490. You don't know what franchise the WAAAGH are from?
The Daleks, Doctor Who, Doctor Whomst.
That wasn't that big here in the U.S.
I thought it was.
It was once, like, the show started getting a little bit more like I guess popular and stuff, but previous seasons weren't like that big. So
yeah, I didn't really start hearing about it until like semi-recently, and even then I'm like, whoa, this has how many seasons?
Right.
How many doctors are there?
But it's almost like 40K and D&D. I feel like D&D is way more popular. More people know about D&D than they do 40K.
Yes.
And that's just because it's a US versus UK thing. Not versus, it's just like the US just had more reach, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. More marketing.
Yeah. Next question.
James Gibbs says, who's a more powerful being? That's of the Psyker Malkador or Magnus? Also, is Malkador perpetual? If not, how did he live so long? So, easy one here. Magnus is stronger because he was originally meant to sit on the Golden Throne, essentially for eternity. When Malkador sat on the Golden Throne, he died because of it. Like, he was only on there for a little bit of time, basically from the Emperor going to Horus's flagship, fighting, getting mortally wounded, and then being interred. I would say small amount of time was enough to kill him.
Yeah. And then at the same time, he lived really, really long because he was a powerful Psyker, and Psykers can live really, really long times.
Yeah, he was the right-hand man to the Emperor. If he was a perpetual, I would even argue that maybe the Golden Throne took away his ability to endlessly die and live. Because when it comes to like perpetuals, I feel like there's a different variety of immortal beings.
Like different flavors.
Yeah, different flavors. Like you have Vulcan, who like no matter what he can recover, but he loses like a piece of himself every single time.
Chocolate.
Yeah, and then you have Malkador, vanilla, right?
Vanilla, yeah.
With a little bit of sprinkles on it.
Yeah.
Who probably used up any and all his power, including his perpetual ability to sit on that golden throne. And then you also have Erda.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Road?
Strawberry.
Oh, Strawberry. How could I forget?
Yeah. The best.
The best. And she literally used her perpetual power to like split herself into three: a young girl, a woman in her prime, and like an old lady. And she literally fought against a greater demon of every chaos god at the same time and won.
Yep.
So yeah, that takes up a lot of power. Because like Space Marines, captains, even Primarchs sometimes have a hard time fighting greater demons. One. And she fought four at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely there's different flavors of perpetuality. And sometimes you get one scoop, sometimes it's two scoops. And sometimes you get a milkshake.
Yeah, Malcador could have been like mint. Most people don't like mint, so they just throw it away.
I wouldn't throw away mint.
I wouldn't either. I love mint, but that's what happened to Malcador.
There you go.
Also, what? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully this answers your question.
Also, like it does bring up a point that if the Golden Throne took away Malcador's perpetualness, what is it doing to the Emperor? Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, I think that's why the Emperor hasn't recovered.
Because of the Golden Throne that's keeping him alive. So it's one of those. He's addicted to it. It's keeping him going, but at the same time, it's killing him slowly.
Yeah, it's like the Emperor's a dick. He's addicted to the throne.
Yes. Next question comes from the big one 6071. What? You added numbers next to your name? What if I bought tons of fireworks and tied them together? Would a rocket like that help me become the first guy from the hood in space? No, you just blow up.
Yeah, third degree burns are not fun.
No, and like you don't want to get your face.
Well, actually, third degree burns you don't feel because it burns the nerve, so you don't feel the pain. That's worse.
Ew, yeah. You probably can't recover from that.
You have to use like skin grafts and stuff like that.
Apparently. Next question.
This one's by Jonathan Lizzie Hayes. Who would win in an all-out battle between all the forces of Nurgle and all the forces of Khorne? I would love to listen to your views whilst downing some extra cheesy nachos.
Damn, too much cheese, man. You can get diarrhea.
Yeah, put some like carne molida, some queso fresco on there,
Aguacate,
jalapenos,
sour cream,
and devour that because we about to get into it. They do that right now. They do that all the time.
Yep.
Chaos is a wheel, and it's always turning. They're always fighting. They're always winning. They're always losing. And it doesn't matter because whenever something dies in the warp, it just gets sent back to the god, and the god just makes more.
Yeah. Now, if you like, so the correct answer is that, right? Like, neither of them. They're just going to continue to fight forever. But like, if we were to break it down, because sometimes I think of like the emotions that each god represents. One of them is entropy.
Right.
Disease, the decay of life and time and all that kind of stuff. And the other one is anger. And I feel like anger is more of a creation of man kind of thing, where like it's not like it's something that a sentient being can express, but it's not existing outside of sentience. Whereas Nurgle, decay, entropy exists outside of sentience. You will never have a tree that gets mad at another tree and tries to like kill it. But you will have, or I guess that makes Nurgle more powerful in my mind, right? Like it's just one of those things where like Nurgle could affect a tree, or because of entropy. Khorne cannot really affect a tree because no tree is going to be angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no rage within plants.
So I don't know if this has been proven scientifically, but isn't there like a thought or like a whole like belief that like if you put music around plants or if you talk to your plants, they'll like grow more or something like that?
Yeah, that's for sure. Like if you speak to them and all that kind of stuff, or somebody with a green thumb, like they just naturally can. Yeah, that kind of thing.
So then wouldn't that also be in like, well, if you put a plant and you plant it next to a tree, and don't they kind of like fight for nutrients in the soil?
Kind of, yeah.
Does that count? Probably
a little
not,
bit.
right?
But that's what I mean. Like it's so like we have to get so into the weeds in order to like draw out anger and like rage from something like that. Whereas with Nurgle, no, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that a plant can get a disease.
Right.
Because you see it all the time, right? They got like the holes and the little bugs and all that kind of shit. So
yeah.
But yeah, those are my thoughts. Comment down below. Let me know which one of the emotions of the Chaos Gods do you think is supreme. And don't say lust, you horn toad. Those were the questions for today.
Yeah, as always, keep these questions coming, and so will we. Hashtag Slanesh. But yeah, this has been the Sound Alchemist.
Krish one.
And we are out of here.
Always used to put my